Before we dive into today's episode, we want to talk about a brand that we personally love and believe in, and that is Sunnah Supplements. If you're looking for a halal product that's genuinely going to help you within, then Sunnah Supplements is the place for you.
It's literally filled with so many different products and they're constantly growing. So our personal favourites at the moment are the collagen, the omega-3.
The mango lassi sachets.
Mango lassi sachets are too good. They're too good. And we'll be trialling out so many of their products throughout each episode so we can tell you guys our honest reviews in each one.
Bro, when I tell you at the start of 2024, I was struggling with my hair. It was falling out. It was getting dry because as a hijabi, you don't get that vitamin D that you need. And on top of that, my skin was breaking out due to stress. But then I started taking the collagen for about 4 to 5 months, and alhamdulillah, I've seen huge progression. My hair feels thicker, it feels smoother, and I feel like my skin's also cleared up too.
It really has. And also, mashallah.
Thank you.
And also when it comes to skin as well, like if you're 25 and above, which is me and probably a lot of girls out there as well, and guys, then you know that collagen actually stops producing naturally as much as it does in your early 20s. And it's very hard to find halal products in the market right now as well. So finding halal products that actually taste good and does good for you is very rare. So
if you want to try out Sunnah Supplements, and we highly recommend you do, you can use code itsjustuspod at checkout for 10% off your basket.
That's right, 10%. So
you're saving money there.
You know, you were like this close to my face.
Sorry.
You were loud. I got scared I was going to get slapped for a second. I was like...
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. How are you, babes?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. You know what? I'm going to rant, okay? I'm going to rant about something.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
What? I'm going to rant.
I'm ready.
Because I'm actually sick and tired of management agencies taking the piss. If you're a content creator that's been through this, I can relate to you. If you're looking to content create and you're looking for a manager, okay, let me just warn you that sometimes management agencies can proper take the piss. So you know how I told you, like I was struggling to find a manager for a while? I finally found someone. And you know what? I don't even care. I don't care. Okay, I finally found someone and he was like, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. He got me to sign a contract. He got me to read his like enrollment booklet, whatever. Okay, it was from a proper agency. And then he also scheduled a call to talk about like future plans, etc. And then literally yesterday he WhatsApped me. He was like, oh, by the way, I've sent you an email. Checked my emails. Hi, Ayesha. I'm so sorry to say that I'm actually going to be traveling, so therefore I cannot be your manager. I've also spoke to the other managers at the agency and they don't have capacity. Therefore, we're going to have to terminate your contract effective immediately.
Bro, you didn't even start your contract.
Firstly, I didn't start no contract. Secondly, if you know you're going abroad for work, you would know like months in advance.
Yeah,
you don't apply months in advance.
You don't just get a flight overnight.
This. Exactly. He didn't find this out yesterday. So if you knew this months in advance, why did you sign me up in the first place? It's so... sorry, I'm ranting, but it's so annoying, man.
No,
and you know what? So many managers have been like long and they've been really difficult to get a hold of. I've just kind of like... I don't know, I was going through a phase of like... I know this sounds stupid, but am I not good enough for a manager? Blah, blah, blah.
No.
It's got nothing to do with that.
At all. If anything, you'd be an asset to whatever company you go for.
Yeah, I don't know, but... Basically, I was going through all this self-doubt and then finally someone came out to me and was like, yeah, like we're going to sign you up. So the fact that that happened, I was like, this is not a great start of the year, but we're going to keep positive mindset and we're just going to continue researching.
Every setback it's not even a setback though. Like whatever's meant for you will come for you. And maybe it is just like deterring you from something that maybe wouldn't have been good for you.
100%.
But I get that's jarring though. But honestly, it's never a
waste of my time.
It's time.
Waste of my time.
Is money. Exactly. I don't care what anyone says. Time is money.
And like the emails, the calls. I just think
it's such an investment.
Because I'm going to say this again. If you are applying for a job abroad, you're going to know months in advance. So what's the point of making...
So he actually wasn't going for a holiday. He was going to work.
It was for a work. It was for a job. He said, I'm going abroad for a job.
That's why.
I know. That's why I was so annoyed. But anyways, any management agencies are watching this or listening, hi, I need a manager. And if you are looking to content create, just know that you're going to face setbacks like these potentially. Yeah. And like you said...
Fair, I only got a manager, I want to say like 2 months ago. So I actually was doing it freely myself for a long time. And
so far so good? Like, has it made a difference?
I'm hoping that we obviously grow from that. It's still early days,
Yeah.
but I think where my 9 to 5 has like it is. I think I was fine with how I was the setup of me being my own manager for a long time, and also frankly, I just don't feel like a lot of management they kind of obviously. Understandably take a percentage.
Yeah.
I just wasn't in a state where I could even give a percentage because I was, I was just a small creator, like I was just starting up.
Yeah.
But now I feel like if a manager can help me grow and align with my goals for 2025, which alhamdulillah, I feel like I have got that right now with Evie. So that's kind of where I'm at. But definitely it's really important to find the right match. Always.
Yeah, because your manager's almost like your friend that's just going to help you.
I wish if my mum was not employed, I'd be like, my mum could be my manager.
Yeah.
She that woman, she is my Kris Jenner, my little mamager.
Yeah, no, and I love that. My mum offered actually. She was like,
Why don't you keep on your mum?
My mum does not have the
manager,
capacity.
Mamager.
My mum does not have the capacity to be a manager. I was like to mother, like, listen, I appreciate it.
But she's proper passionate as well.
She is passionate. I mean, the Hear Me Outs that we did last episode, she helped me prep that. I didn't want to see your Hear Me Out.
Auntie
so I was
is
like,
such a
Mum,
legend.
you do Imaani's, I'll do mine. She ended up doing mine as well. So shout out Mumsy for that.
Shout out Auntie, honestly.
So, but yeah, anyways, that's my little rant over. Aside of my rants, how's everything going for you in terms of your 9 to 5 and your social media? Like, all good?
Oh, yeah, it's all good. We're chipping away. Do you know what I mean? We're chipping away.
Yeah.
Just like, doing okay. How about you, babes?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's very busy because, like I said a few episodes ago, I work in events and we've got quite a few events coming up.
Gosh,
so the 9 to 5 balance with social media it's not balanced in the way that it should be balancing. But we're human
It's a
beings.
peak period, right?
We're human beings and we're going to just ride through that. And inshallah, khair, really. Just I'm having faith in God that He helps me through this journey. He pulls me through. In terms of like, how I act now in terms of the way I balance things, it's definitely come from learning from others, learning from you, learning from other creators. I feel like without the advice and without watching other people go through what I go through, I think I would have struggled so much. I'm not I like to say I'm organised, but I'm not as organised as I want to be. When I was a child, I was like the most least
free-flowing.
I was free-flowing.
See, I've always been type A, man.
Free-flowing. You were type A.
I was type A. I was OCD. I told you, I got us on Notion.
Yeah.
Anyone who wants to organise their life, get on Notion.
Yeah.
Notion has changed my whole life. Like, as in every aspect, I Notion it up now.
Yeah.
There's going to come a time where I'm going to Notion up my family as well. And they're going to be like, every family business, put it on Notion.
I just know when Imaani's prepping her wedding.
Notion!
That's going to be your bestie right there.
100%.
No, you know what? You told me about Notion, but a really good friend of mine also told me about Notion as well.
Sick, innit?
Literally the day before. So when you said it, I was like, wow, this is a sign. And Notion is like the best thing ever now. Like I use it all the time. Notion, sponsor us.
Notion, if you're listening.
Yeah, we're Notion fiends. There we go.
Ready for you.
Let's go back to the aspect of us being a child. Like, we're actually going to talk about our childhood a little bit and how it's shaped us today. Yeah. We've also bought pictures of what we look like as babies, and we're going to stem from there. You go first with your childhood
baby
picture.
Healthy state.
Yeah.
This is actually me as a baby.
Nah, that is adorable, man. The fit is everything. we love it. We love it.
Yeah.
How old are you there?
I was at 2.
Okay, cool. Fairs.
This is my dad and my mom and some random baby. I don't know who it is.
Oh,
but
that's so typical in South Asian like memory books and stuff. You've got pictures of you as a baby.
Kids, man.
You've got random people in the back. Like those. I hear you.
Times,
I relate to you. My one.
Show me baby Aish.
I've got it on my phone. It's my first birthday.
Oh, cute.
I don't know. Don't ask me about my outfit.
No, but at that time there was no drip for babies.
That's baby Aish.
Oh, that's so cute.
The caterpillar cake is going strong. The caterpillar cake is going strong.
Oh my God, look at the
girl in the back there, no clue.
No clue,
that is.
No clue.
That's Samarine, my sister.
Oh my God, you guys are proper alike. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Every single child had that pineapple head.
Yeah, it was.
You know the pineapple, the coconut vibes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was typical.
Yeah, all the baddies had that. All the baddies.
So basically, in terms of like your childhood, do you remember much about your childhood? Like in terms of
I think there were certain moments that were very, very significant.
Yeah.
Like first family holiday. Yeah. My chicken pox because I still have scars from my chicken pox.
Really?
Yeah, like I didn't put the ointment on.
How old were you when you
I
had
was like
chickenpox?
5, and this is like 21 years later.
Yeah.
And my mum used to always say to me, like, I literally remember it so vividly. I was like, I didn't want to put it on because it was smelly. And my mum was like, if you don't, you're gonna scar.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like your face anymore.
Yeah.
Do I listen to mum? No. So I have like a scar here and here.
Oh, I never realised. I never realised. Do you know what's mad is that I had chickenpox 2 years ago. I had it as an adult. Yeah, I hadn't.
2 years ago?
That was the most traumatizing period of my
How
life.
long was it for?
I had it for about a week and a half.
And like you proper chicken pox?
Yeah, it was basically what happened is I used to live with my nephews, and when he was 3,
He got it.
and I was like to my mum, I had chickenpox, right? And my mum was like, yeah. Like she was like, yeah. And I was like, Mum, like, have I had it or not? And she just genuinely just didn't remember. And I asked my siblings and they were like, we don't remember. So that was kind of like a clarification that I potentially couldn't have. But in my head, I was like, I've definitely had it.
Yeah.
Every child's had it. I've definitely
No,
had it.
my sister never hasn't had it. She's 20 now.
Really?
So she's going to get it.
Yeah, she needs to be careful. When I got it, I was in pain. Like,
Really?
genuinely. I first started getting spots on my back and I was thinking like, what is that? Okay, normally you get spots on your body. That's a normal thing.
Yeah.
Then it started developing everywhere. I was like, what's going on? And it became painful. So when I went I remember I went A&E and I was thinking, this is either chickenpox or this is either like a disease. It's one or the other. And they said it was chickenpox. So yeah, I had to have oat baths. So it was literally hot water and oats in a bath.
Imagine telling your manager, I can't go into work, I got chicken pox.
No, I had to, and my manager had to email the whole office because they have kids as well. So just in case they...
Infestation.
Yeah. So I remember that was very traumatizing. But anyways, enough of my adult chickenpox, my trauma. Go on. So you remember that really vividly, you having chickenpox?
Yeah. I also remember my first family trip, we went Legoland.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also remember all my school plays. I was such a geek, man.
What were you like the main?
I think
vibe,
I was a star.
Dancer, fairs,
I was a star for Bethlehem and that.
Nice. Bethlehem and that.
Respectfully. I was a Christmas tree one time.
Nice. Okay. Christmas vibes. We're getting Christmas vibes from these plays.
Yeah, nativities, man. You know?
Oh yeah. I never got involved in nativity plays.
You know?
Nah, I never. I was more like getting involved in the talent shows.
Well,
Yeah.
you were a talented number. Do you know what I mean? The talent had started from
I was
there.
like, let me embrace my South Asian culture, not knowing anything about my own culture, but let me just embrace it and do Bollywood dancing for my talent show.
you?
Yeah, I actually won.
That means you got
won.
2 steps.
Yeah, year 3 and I became second place in year 4. And then in year 5 I was like, let me do the same thing because these
come
men
back.
are enjoying
Yeah.
it. And it didn't work out. But it's okay.
It's okay. You can just tell your kid that you were, the lead dancer.
Yeah. And everyone was. I remember I got holly powder,
competition.
and I'm not even Indian, I'm Pakistani, but I remember I got holly powder. I started throwing it everywhere, and everyone was like, "Whoa, colours! This is amazing!" And
Oh, you gave a performance.
I gave a performance
You've
and a
been
half.
a creative girl since day. You were like straight out Bollywood.
Year 3, actually, I brought my Punjabi side out. I did Bhangra.
No way.
Yeah, I did Bhangra. I don't know if you guys remember in Britain's Got
That's
Talent,
quite cool.
there was this like duo that came
Yes!
on. The Sikh guy with the broomstick and the other guy. I basically
What was his name?
replicated.
Signature? I can't remember.
Signature. It was Signature.
Was it Signature?
Yeah. I basically
That is
replicated.
so
I
funny.
replicated the broomstick.
You're lying.
And then
we
I
are
did the
never doing
Bhangra.
that, by the way.
No, I'll never
saying.
show that to anybody.
Just in case you think like we can just roll something back up. Like,
Yeah, we can't do that.
can't.
I don't think that's even
I
recorded.
wonder what those
thank
guys are
God.
doing these days, man.
Yeah, they did a
Pop culture was so funny
I
then.
know, bro. It was sick. But Britain's Got Talent was like one of my childhoods. I was watching that all the time.
Yeah.
And when those 2 men came on stage,
Yeah.
I was
Representation.
mesmerized. And I was like, Mom, I love this. And then, my sister, my older sister, she gave me the idea that I should replicate that and got me first place. So who's complaining? Who's complaining?
Wait, did you do it to Smooth Criminal?
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. It was sick, bro. It was sick.
No, I think
it
you'd
was
be
good.
sick.
Yeah,
You'd
it
be
was
sick.
good. So
Okay.
so you did the plays.
Yeah,
The talent
and you know
shows.
what? Like as a kid, I was really jarring. Like I was those
Yeah.
kids that were like, the teacher's pet.
Oh, okay.
I was the teacher's pet.
Were you the ones? Were you the girls that were like, oh, I got 80%. That's not good enough. I need 100%.
Yeah.
Those people pissed me
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
I
was
remember that
always-
pissed me
yeah.
off because I'd get like 60. I'd scrape a 60%. So if someone was getting 80%, they were crying. Yeah.
No, you know what? And I was really tall. Funny enough, I was like 5 foot by year 6, bro.
Okay.
I was really tall when I was younger.
It's giving model vibes. That's what we love.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
I'm 5'5" and I'm Bengali, so technically I could probably class as 6 foot to some people. Do you know what I mean? For my people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think school was a good time. It's so weird though. Like, do you ever think about like when was the moment that you kind of grew up? Do you see what I mean?
I think I had that moment pretty late in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, when uni.
Oh, because you moved out for uni, right?
Yeah, I moved out for
that's
uni.
probably a big growing
And
period.
I learned a lot through that phase. I developed a lot of skills through that phase. And from there, it kind of, I kind of changed as a person. And to be honest, even after uni, I was still changing and developing. So it was pretty late for me when I had that realization. What about you?
Same. I feel like even past uni, I think
Yeah.
because I lived at home, so I feel like I lived in a bubble.
Yeah.
I only feel like I really like was experiencing life and being an adult when I was 23.
Fairs.
Yeah.
But do you remember, like, so you said that you were, you described your childhood as jarring, but what else, like,
But then
how else would
again,
you describe your childhood?
To be fair, like I am a middle child.
Yeah.
I'm a middle child. And
Yeah.
if anyone's the middle child, you'll know, respectfully, we're the forgotten ones. Yeah. Like we get away probably with a lot of stuff, but no one even knows.
No comment.
Like we're not the babies, we're not the eldest.
Yeah.
So you know what's so funny? My mum will literally say like, she'll have so many memories of my brother and my sister. And when it comes to me, she's like, you were such a good kid. You didn't give me any problems. Like I was in my room by 3.
Is that
and I've been
because-
in that room posted.
Is your mom saying you were such a good kid because she genuinely just doesn't remember?
Yeah, like
Child.
you were so sensible, you were so
Yeah,
independent.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
deep at 3 years old, I was sleeping in my own bedroom.
Yeah.
And I've been in my own bed for the last 23 years.
That's crazy. I shared a bedroom with my sister for years. And it's only this
That's character
year.
building, man.
Yeah, it's only this year that I've finally got my own bedroom. So it's been a change and it's been a great change. But it's also been strange as well because at night, I like feeling that presence of another person. It gives me that reassuring
you're used to your
feeling.
sister.
Yeah, so the fact that I'm like sleeping by myself in a room now, sometimes it's kind of, it's a strange feeling at night. But I love the privacy that I get. So it's the best. It's literally the best. But yeah, I feel like from having to go through things in life, like for example, uni and like getting my own room and all these small little things, it's really kind of like pushed me to kind of grow up faster than, you know, an average 24-year-old. I feel like 24-year-olds these days, you know, they're still kind of trying to figure out life. But I feel like with what I faced in life and the challenges and tribulations that I went through, it's kind of developed my character massively in terms of, you know, knowing what you have to be responsible of doing in life, like looking after parents, making sure that, you know, things are okay in the house. And I never thought that a 24-year-old would have to go through that, but like I had to go through that. And you know what? It's actually a blessing. It's not a curse. It's a blessing because it's not only matured myself. I've not only matured, but also I've learned and I've grown to become closer to my family and closer to the people around me. So alhamdulillah to that. What about you?
Yeah, no, a lot of same. a lot of same.
You
a
can
lot of
echo
same.
on that,
Yeah, I
basically,
can definitely echo it. Because even for me, because I lost my dad at 23. So like, and it was when I was 23. And that whole year I was always, now I'm 26. So even then I look at myself 3 years ago and I'm like, oh, I was such a baby. Like I was a child.
Yeah.
But I was dealing with some proper adult like situation, like, you know, and you know, as a kid, you always assume like, oh, like I look after my parents when I'm older and they're older. And then for me, like my dad, he was such a sufficient guy, like he was so healthy. We never, if anything, I thought my mum would get sick before my dad would get sick, just because his lifestyle was so much more healthier. But yeah, like I was 23 and like dealing with something like cancer, like, you know, I don't think anyone's ready to deal with anyone who had cancer in their house at any age. But, you know, since losing my dad, I've obviously been more, I guess, compassionate, and I really like to speak to people and hear their stories. And I've heard people that say, like, when they've had someone who's had a sick parent when they were, like, proper young, like I'm talking between the age of, like, 7 to, like, 15, they understand that someone's sick, but they don't fully understand how they feel. Whereas for me, I feel like at 23, I was fully understanding what I was going through. Like I was fully going through the motions. And it felt so hard because I couldn't relate to anyone. Because I always think to myself, like everyone was in their early 20s, they were enjoying life and they were like, they were kind of not in a bad way, but selfish in the sense that like that is your time in your life where you are going to be selfish, you are going to chase your dreams. And like I remember being like 23, like I was still doing healthy state, and I was still doing like seeing my friends where I can, and I had finished university, so I was working, but I definitely felt like that was a chunk of my life where I had to show up for my family, and I didn't ever resent them for it because that's what I had to go through. But like in some ways I'm so thankful I've done it when I was younger, because now the way I navigate life, I don't think I could navigate life or appreciate life if I didn't have that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like it gave you a brand new...
I was a new... like a part of me, I'll be so real, like when my dad passed away, like I felt like a part of me also died. But it wasn't a bad part of me, but it was like I knew... That night I was like, I know I'm never going to be the same. But I think I really struggled with even believing in the idea that I'll ever be like, I'll find light again, or ever be like smile again or laugh again and genuinely laugh and smile. Do you know what I mean? Not like the kind of like ha ha he he, because people probably see me on the pod and think she's just always busting bands, which I am. But that's just how I deal with life.
Yeah. That's you.
Yeah,
that's Imaani.
Exactly. But I feel like if I didn't go through what I went through at 23 and actually grow up, do you know what I mean? Like actually understand that life isn't easy, and life, you can grieve, but also still actually experience happiness and experience light and experience love and experience friendship. And like, it's so weird because at first I was like, I feel so guilty. But at the same time, I'm like, wow, like maybe it's because, to be happy, you also have to be really sad. And to be sad, you have to have really been really happy at one point.
Yeah.
And these kind of things, you don't understand as a child.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand as a kid. You're just thinking, like every emotion's one or the other.
Yeah.
But you never think that you can have two such strong emotions at the same time. But I
really want to ask more questions, if it's okay.
Yeah, of course.
About your grief, like, because everyone deals with grief differently. So you can either go one way or the other.
100%.
So what...
I feel like I went both.
You feel like we went through different directions.
Yeah.
How would you describe the process when you
of
did
grief?
Lose your dad? Of grief, like
what?
Because I've never gone through that, basically.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I'll really say it in the most humble and respectful way. I think parental loss and child loss is something that, like, someone used the analogy of your hands, and like that idea that, like, if you think about your heart, like your fingers are the things that are most attached to you. And like, if you think about your fingers, it could be your partner, it could be your friends, it could be your family.
Wow.
So like, and if you lose one of them, you feel it. Do you know what I mean? You don't hold life the same, or your heart. So I think for me, my dad was sick for 10 months though, but funnily enough, we were always in denial because he was so healthy and he really fought till his last breath, physically, literally.
Yeah.
But when he did pass away, I was like, shit, like I'm 23 years old and everyone around me is just carrying on with life. Like, as in, I remember I went back to work 3 weeks later because I couldn't deal with anything. I went to gym 2 days later. I became a proper adult, like as in like overnight.
Do you feel like you were forced to become an adult?
Yeah, 100%. Like I had a mum, I had a little sister to look after. Yeah. My brother, he lives away with his wife in Birmingham, so I live in London. So like, and the thing is, my dad, he always was like, I can always rely on Imaani. Like, as in like, Imaani will get it done. Imaani's my voice of reason. And like, I had to honor that. So even, I think in some ways, like the first stage of grief is usually denial. Like, you know that something's happened and your whole house feels different. Like the light is not coming back. Like you don't hear the keys like rustling through the door. You don't hear like the car door like slamming before you, like from the outside. So you know someone's coming. You don't hear the footsteps. And I feel like all of that was just a blur. Like you're in an out of body experience. And like, then you have all these people that come round, and then slowly as weeks go by, no one's coming around anymore because you realise that the unfortunate reality of life, you have to carry on. Yeah. So that stage of grief was almost like, okay, so something's bad's happened. We're all in denial, but we're not really processing it because everyone's around us. Everyone's obviously feeding us with love and actual food and memories and stories and prayers. And then all of a sudden, that's
Nothing.
muted. Yeah. Because, and my mum, in Islam, like they go through something called an iddah period where women, widows, have to be basically in their home for 40 days, and it's a way of them properly grieving. So my mum was at home for 40 days. So even then, like me having to explain to my workplace, I can't come in to the office as often because my mum is by herself. Like I don't want her to be by herself. I need to make sure she's okay. And she's a very strong, independent woman. So she kept it stepping anyway. But little things like that. And then all of a sudden, time is passing. My birthday was in September. My dad died in July. So it was my 24th birthday. And it was so weird because I was like, why are we already experiencing things without him? And I didn't even feel like, again, I felt like no time had passed. I felt like I was living the whole day again and again and again.
Was there like a feeling of guilt consistently every day because you were
all
here
the time? Yeah. And also like you do crave understanding the afterlife more because you don't want to, like I think a lot of people really, really struggle with finality. Like people really struggle with the fact that like you're here one day in life and then the next day you're not. And then like you always think like that person, like I need to live their name because if they go, that's it. And they make such an impact on my life. Like you won't know me if you don't know them. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. That's why like even like, you know, it warms my heart so much when like you or Alia, for example, like says to me, like, I feel like I knew Baba even though I've never met Baba. Yeah. And like for me, that's my biggest flex. Like I would die on the hill if I can, just to be like, you need to know that my dad is the reason why I'm standing here today. Like he's the strength that keeps me going. And that's like a stage of grief. That's like the beginning stages. And then all of a sudden, time is passing by quickly. Like what happened to be 3 weeks happened to be 3 months. Then it happened to be 6 months. And now like in 2025, it's going to be 3 years. And I feel like when you think about 3 years, you think to yourself like, it's a guilt because you're like, I'm achieving so much in life. Like I finally got a nicer car and my dad never experienced that. Everything with Healthy State came after my dad. Right. Like every kind of sponsorship, every kind of event, every kind of milestone came after my dad. So in some ways, I always think to myself like, oh, like Baba, you're not seeing any of this. He loved fitness, he loved community, and he's not seeing anything.
This could have potentially been your Baba's dad's before he passed.
This is what I'm saying. Like I always say this to on my page. Like I feel like I'm living my dad's dream, so I have to live it for him. Yeah. And like even like I always think to myself like, oh, I'm gonna sound like a broken record. Like people know her dad died. Like it's been it's been time now. Like she can't keep talking about it, but like I have to talk about it because otherwise I'm not me. You know. And like there's other things that happen in grief that really is triggering as a female. If like, for example, you know, moments like you're getting married or you're even getting to know someone for marriage and you're like, oh, like my dad is my protector and he's no longer here. So I'm having to figure this stuff out and like make the right decisions. And I don't know if I'm going to make the right decisions. And I think that as well is like, no one tells you about that with grief. No one tells you that when you have your first child and your parents not there, it's like, they're not seeing their baby, bring another baby into life. Yeah. And it's like, but they should be there. They have to be there. Yeah. And I think, again, it's the whole idea like of accepting that sometimes in life, you can't control time. And I wish I could like speak to people and say to them like, you need to hold your loved ones close because you don't know when it's going to be the last time you hold them. Yeah. But I guess that's a part and parcel of life because before 23, I didn't do that. Yeah. Now I do it I bring my mum to every occasion. I bring my mum to every event. I talk to her because, you know, she's literally my mum and my dad now. Like she is the only thing that I can still hold as a parent in this life. Yeah. So grief really, and it's the thing is, with grief as well, when you really love somebody, you can't ever tell someone to like mute that or like, you know, even if they're no longer here, like you will try and look for them everywhere you go. Yeah. And sometimes even things like dreams, you would crave to see them in a dream. And you can't really explain that to somebody who's never gone through grief because it's just like, it's not the same. Yeah.
Let me just tell you that when I started putting the hijab on, I was using the cotton head caps.
And I still use them.
When I tell you the hairline, it was doing something. It was going back in ways that I shouldn't have gone back in. Yeah. So I panicked and I tried to use so many different remedies. I started using tablets. I started using oils and it just didn't work. But then Hamza started Sunnah supplements, okay? Sunnah supplements is a halal collagen brand, not even just collagen now, they do vitamins, biotin, omega-3, turmeric, all the things that will benefit your health.
Magnesium.
We need a bit of magnesium. But when it comes to my hair health, when it comes to my skin, I started taking collagen consistently for about 4 to 5 months. And alhamdulillah, I've seen huge results, which is why we recommend you to take collagen if needs be. So guys, actually not even needs be, you need to take collagen. It's really important. So guys, make sure you try out Sunnah supplements, use code itsjustuspod for 10% off at checkout.
That's right. It's just us at 10%, and that could be on all products listed in the website. So yeah.
Do you think the feeling and emotion of loneliness was one of the, I'd say like biggest things you went through, especially
100%.
like you said with the idea of weddings, for example, and like getting to know someone, wanting like your dad's advice?
Oh yeah, I really struggle with relationships now. Yeah. I think it's mainly because, and it's not even daddy issues. Like the thing is, like I was really blessed to have such a great dad. As in, like he was like a dad to so many people in this world. He really looked out for children. His biggest achievement was being a dad. Do you know what I mean? And that's very rare in this world now, in this day and age. And like that feeling of loneliness, like I think I'll always have that, no matter like how much, like when someone says to me, like one of the biggest compliments, the most heartwarming compliments is when someone says to me, oh, like you bring so much light to a room, or like you really light up my life, and like you've got so much light to you. And I always think to myself like, yeah, but I carry a lot of darkness as well. Like I carry a lot of loneliness. And I think it's because for me, like, he was such a big piece of my heart. I'm going to have to chase him till the next world to get it back. Yeah. So I'm always going to have that loneliness. Yeah. But I think I'm such a firm believer that like Allah brought more people into my life because he knew that I was going to feel so lonely, that he brought people like you, do you know what I mean? Like into my life to carry on giving me purpose, carry on making me still believe like I need you to carry on living because you haven't gone through all your chapters yet. But I'll bring more people in so that you feel like, okay, I know I've taken someone away, but I'll bring someone else with you. And they'll never replace your dad because they're never meant to. Yeah. But they might be reflections of him. And I truly believe that. Like through grief, I've been able to actually build such strong bonds and connections with people. I don't have surface level friends. I don't have surface level connections with anyone.
Yeah. Which I feel like is the best way to go about life.
Sometimes for some people, like some people find it like they would prefer. Don't get me wrong, like I'm very like adaptive.
You can have a chat with everybody.
I could chat to a wall. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but at the same time, like for someone I truly need to connect with at any level, be it friendship, be it relationship, be it even like professionally, like I need to feel like you're also a deep soul. Yeah. But again, like grief comes with everyone differently. Grief comes in waves. Like there's been times, oh my God, like I think it was like a month ago, no trigger, nothing. It wasn't a special date. It wasn't like something reminded me of him. I just was driving back home from gym and I just started crying. I was like literally shedding tears, buckets. And like, I called my sister and I was like, why? Like, what's happening? And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, like I really need Baba and he's not here. And that was really hard because I was thinking to myself, like, I remember him every day when I pray. Like, and you always remember them as well. Like, it might be a big part of your day, or it might be such a like small part, but like you always remember them in a prayer, or like you always like think of them. But that day I was like, this is what grief is. Like, grief literally will hit you like that, and then if you're lucky, you're going to be in a space where you can quickly like compose yourself. Yeah. But if you're not, you just got to let it just flow because that's all the unanswered love like that you haven't been able to share. So you've got to keep it beating, you know? Yeah.
Do you think, so I'm just hammering you with questions.
No, it's fine.
Do you think that this process and what you went through essentially brought you closer to your deen? And in terms of like your religion, I know that you see life like differently, but have you, from this situation, have you like felt that Allah's presence ever so slightly because you know that Baba is with him at the moment?
Yeah,
you know?
I feel like because my dad passed away with cancer as well, I think Islam really gives you a lot of comfort. Like, you know, they have a lot of explanations for even things like sickness in the stomach, for example, their martyr. the way people pass away, the kind of afterlife, like the fact that children can still act as a form of charity and still increase their deeds even though they've passed in this world. Yeah. There's so many beautiful, comforting teachings that really brought me a lot of comfort. And like, it also made me realize, like, my dad, he wasn't the local imam, bless him, but the thing was, he was such a community man. He made me realize that Islam is so much more than just the on paper practicing. Like, you, for example, we should pray, we should fast, and we should do all of the kind of like the 5 pillars, but also like the way you are, the character, the way you are, the person. Like, my dad didn't have the greatest job. Like, he was a cabbie. Like, he was a hardworking immigrant that came to this country, worked really hard for his family, and he always felt like he didn't have much to his name, but oh my God, the day he passed, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people came to his funeral. Yeah. And it's crazy.
Which is, alhamdulillah, the best thing that could possibly happen with your funeral, because
he was buried within 48 hours.
Hundreds of people making dua for your dad.
And you know, he only had 5 family members in this country, and he had like 400 people come to his janazah.
Alhamdulillah.
And like, this is what I'm saying. So like, back to your question, like, I feel like my dad, it's so funny because I could talk about him for ages, but like, he really made me realize, like, there's people in this world, like, I know everyone will say, oh, like, their parent is amazing, right? Yeah. But like, to be proud of like the legacy they leave, and then you're able to be proud enough to be their child, like, that's a big, big thing for me. And I'll always take that with pride, you know? Yeah. But it is really difficult. Like, I think it's the hardest thing it's the hardest emotion you'll ever have to grapple in life. Yeah. And the unfortunate reality is everybody will go through it one day.
Yeah. SubhanAllah, like, you're one of my best friends and you lost your dad, but I also have a really, really close friend who also lost their dad a couple of years ago. Me. And I remember the whole process, and from the very first day that she told me about her Baba to the day that he passed. And I really do, like, hold a lot of respect for the people that do lose, like, their either mum or their dad, one of their parents, because, you know, at the end of the day, your parents, like my mum especially, she's like my best friend. So I feel like
living life without your best friend, not hearing their voice, not hearing their presence come back is really difficult. Yeah,
and I can imagine it's super tough. And I remember experiencing each like low moment to each high moment where she'll sit there and be like, wow, like my Baba did this and that. Then it comes in waves basically, but to be the person like next to the person grieving,
You're was a also really grieving, you know?
Kind of, yeah. And it's a like I said, and like you said, people think that they've already like met your Baba. I genuinely feel like I have already met him, even though I never did. It's a strange one, but just going and seeing your loved ones go through that, it really opens your eyes to basically what this world is and how short it can be for a person. So like you said, just echoing what you said, make the most of the people around you, and the people that you love, hold them tight. That hand saying, that's sick. Like, that was so cool. Everyone was nodding their head in the back. Like,
because it's so true. And you know what? Like, my friends, I remember like 2 of my best friends who actually made the name Healthy State, and It's Just Us. God. Yeah, like I remember on one of my birthdays, I think it was my 25th, she was like to me, and she's known me since I was 11 years old. And she literally had my dad's umbrella, and she's still using my dad's umbrella when it's raining outside. Yeah. And like, she said to me, she was like, I genuinely feel like you changed after Baba died. Like, as in, there was a part of you, like, you've done everything you fully can to carry on living, but you weren't the same person. Yeah. And in some ways, like, for your best friend to say that, and they've seen so many chapters of you, you know it's true. But I also feel like, I can't imagine how hard it is as a friend to feel so helpless. Like, you don't know how to help your friend because you know you've nothing you can say or do to ever bring that person back or bring them joy.
You feel guilty in a sense because I was there, and then when I had to go home, it's like I had to continue on with my life, and I didn't want to continue on with my life. I wanted to stay there. I wanted to stay there, hold her hand, sleep next to her, hug her tightly. But at the end of the day, because her life has essentially gone on pause for a little bit. It is,
your life stops.
And like, I had no choice but just to continue on with my life, and it just didn't feel right. But then, you know, like a presence, like not even just physical, but a verbal presence is so important to someone that's grieving. They need to know that they're not alone. They need to know that someone is there for them. So, just continuously checking up and just ensuring that, they have this feeling that, there is people around them to kind of help them within the situation. It's really important. So, but at the end of the day, like, may Allah place so much ease and peace onto you and your family and everyone that's grieving at the moment, whoever they are that they've lost.
No, I agree.
Yeah, go on.
No, I was just going to say, like, even the fact that, like, even as triggering things, like, for example, being in the new year, being in January, like, yes, like every festive period for someone who's grieving can be incredibly difficult. And I feel like if you know somebody who may have lost somebody, even if it's been a year, even if it's been 2 years, the cycle of this calendar always stays the same. You're gonna have the Eid, you're gonna have the Ramadan, you're gonna have the end of year, you're gonna have birthdays. Every day is difficult for them, but things like starting a new year can be incredibly, incredibly hard, because it's like, for them, that's another year starting without the person that they want to start it with.
Yeah.
And like, I think no matter how much time passes, love never changes with people. Like, love never changes. So if anyone's watching this and, either you're experiencing grief, like, I genuinely pray that you find strength and you hold on to the moments that you really cherish, but also the people who might have someone in their life that's grieving, just check in with them.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny because people always think saying the saying, thinking of you, sounds like it's not enough. I promise you, for someone who's grieving, to even think that someone still thinks of them because they feel like the world has passed and the world is carry on, it means so much.
Yeah.
My friends, I can't even tell you what words that they kind of said to me when my dad died, because everything went off my head. But I will never forget the feeling of knowing that they came every day to see me.
Yeah.
Because physically, like, sometimes we were just sitting in silence. Yeah. Because there was nothing to say. There was nothing you could, like, those kind of moments.
That feeling of helplessness.
Yeah.
Like, that's basically what the other person kind of feels. They want to do, they want to take away all the pain.
Yeah.
Like, but they physically can't because what's happened has happened, and it's happened because Allah has chosen that path.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, and you also kind of want to question why it's happened, but then you can't, because everything's written so beautifully and everything happens for a reason. So as Muslims, you kind of think like you can't argue from what's happened.
It's so true.
But I guess that's a form of grief as well, just questioning what's happened and why it's happened, but then going through
100%.
When you go through that stage, you come to a realization that what's happened has happened for a reason. That's why I said that grief can go through many different streams, because one person can just go through complete in denial and just be like, no, this is not fair, and maybe go down darker routes.
You know what? It's not linear either. Like, I've gone through denial, and then I feel like I've gone to acceptance, and I've gone back to denial. Yeah. And I think it's because of the fact that, like, especially the closer the person is to you, right? Like, it's never gonna feel like it's ending. Yeah. It's always gonna feel like it will only end when I'm with them again. Yeah. Literally. Yeah. And I think for me, I realized that going through grief, it's given me a reason to live. Like, it's actually given me a reason to make sure that, like, I don't leave this earth feeling like I didn't do enough. And what I mean by enough, not to be in a toxic way, like I have to keep working, I have to change the world. No, none of that. As in, like, I can't keep taking life for granted. Yeah. I can't keep taking the fact that I wake up every day for granted. Yeah. I can't keep taking the fact that I am able to move my body for granted. I can't take the fact that I have people around me who genuinely love me and have chosen for me to be in their life, be it a friend, be it even my family. I'm not going to take that love for granted.
Also, at the end of the day,
work, I do. I never take it for granted.
Yeah, and also at the end of the day, as Muslims, we believe that once we leave this dunya, you go to one place. I guess this is also motivation to live your best life so you can be reunited with your Baba.
This is what I'm saying. My dad is
inshallah
secured, inshallah. Like, he died from cancer. He's chilling. He was a martyr. If anything, I hope I'm one of the 7 people who he asked for. Yeah. Because, like, as martyrs, you can do that. You can ask for 7 people to bring with you to heaven. And I always think to myself, like, that's making me thrive to do better, because I need to be chilling in the garden with him, telling him all the stories about what I had to do and what I've had to go through, because he's not been there. Yeah. And I can't do that if I don't thrive to be better. Yeah. And it's so funny because that's what I'm saying. Like, having a purpose like that, like, even I get so many DMs from girls sometimes, and they literally talk to me about their grief. And I always think to myself, like, I'm so grateful that I can even be a source of a companion.
I'm so happy you vocalized it, like, on your page, because you've given
I probably
people
would have carried on Healthy State, It's so weird. I would have either done it or I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Like I literally, because I made that decision, I was like, am I going to carry on talking about my grief? If not, I might just throw it all on towel, because what's the point?
Yeah.
So can you imagine if I did?
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here today.
And to be honest, at the end of the day, you wouldn't have probably impacted lots of different lives, because people do DM you for support and advice on, and just, I'm assuming people DM you as well just to have like someone there to speak to.
Yeah,
because
100%.
like it goes back to the whole feeling of feeling
100%.
lonely when you're going through grief. So I'm glad that you're kind of that person there to help others, and that's amazing. And you know, you're making your Baba proud in that sense as well. You're helping others. Your Baba probably uplifted so many different human beings,
and he
that's
didn't
exactly
need a
what you're
social
doing.
media following to do that.
There we go.
Do you know what I mean?
But you know, everyone's got their different lives and paths, and your purpose is to maybe reach out to a wider scale.
Yeah.
Reach out to people in the freaking US. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's so funny because my mum literally said to me the other day, and bear in mind, my mum, she always keeps us humble. So like, not in a bad way, but in a way like she'll tell us when, you know, her kids deserve and need to hear it. And she was like to me, she's like, you're really keeping your Baba alive. And I was just like, that really
that's my
warmed
favorite
heart.
qualities of you, especially at the Alpha Run. I feel like
that was
you
beautiful.
doing that was honestly incredible, because not only are you representing your Baba, but one thing that you said that really like, that's what made me cry, to be honest, is that you said that everyone's carrying a piece of Baba at the moment. And I just felt that was so, that I felt honoured. It was such a privilege to be told that. So yeah, your mum is right. You are carrying him wherever you go, whatever you do. And that's one of my favourite qualities of yours, because you do it so proudly, you do it with strength, you do it with integrity. And I never want you to stop. I never want you to stop talking about your grief. I never want you to stop talking about your Baba. Because yes, the healthy state is Imaani, but to me, the healthy state is Imaani and your Baba. Personally, it is. So yeah, we're all proud of you, ma'am. You're an inspiration to many. You made me tear up a little bit today.
No, I know,
I'm
you're
not gonna
making me
lie. You know what's
tear
jokes?
up.
Before we wrap up this episode, Imaani mentioned her dad at one of the Alpha events. It was the Alpha BC event, and it was calm. Everything was cool.
Yeah.
And then I saw her after her little speech. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I started crying.
You were like projectile.
And then she started crying. And then we both started crying. In the middle of Gym Nation, London Bridge, we were just crying. Because it was just such a beautiful speech. Her moment was so beautiful. And that was a real moment that was our first real moment.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, you just don't know whose hearts you touch.
Yeah.
Even if your heart feels really heavy. This is what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Grief is really, really, it's very painful, but I think there's so many things that you can seek comfort in it. But you just gotta ride the wave.
Yeah. And you're riding it. So
I am indeed.
All right.
Right, that was a bit of a somber note to wrap it up with.
But hopefully it has helped others, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not alone, girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll see you in the next one. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you use code itsjustuspod for your next collagen order at Suna Supplements.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
See you later, guys.
Bye.